Last year, we saw Nikola Jokic solidify himself as one of the NBA's premier talents, winning the NBA's Most Valuable Player award, and he dragged the Denver Nuggets into the playoffs despite not having his second best player in Jamal Murray. Now, they did get eliminated in the second round by the Phoenix Suns in 4 games, but Jokic did just about everything that he could to try and get them out of that round. Now, as we've entered this season, I personally wondered just how good Jokic was going to be and if he was going to be able to follow up last year's spectacular performance with an even better performance this year. After all, he is only 26 years old. It's reasonable to think that he's still able to go higher as a player. Now, he's come out with a bang this year, being just as good as he was last year, and I'd argue he's actually been significantly better in some areas of the game. He's been so good that I think there's a pretty good argument that he might be one of the 3 best players in the entire NBA. What has he done this year that's made him so good? How's he been able to keep this team competitive in the tough Western Conference despite not having Jamal Murray and despite Michael Porter Jr. not playing to what we've seen him play before? Well, that's what we're going to cover in today's video, so let's get right into it. Now, first things first, let's talk about his scoring. I think that it's really easy to look at the fact that he's not averaging as many points as last year and think that he's somehow not playing as well, but that's just simply not the case. In fact, I'd argue that his scoring this year has been significantly better than last year for a multitude of reasons. The first thing I want to talk about with his scoring is the fact that he's currently shooting 40% from 3 this year on 4 attempts per game. Last year was impressive on its own, being a 38.8% shooter from deep, but he was only attempting 3.3 shots from deep per game. Now, for his volume to have increased and his 3-point percentage still rising as well is just some icing on the cake for what was already a really efficient year for him last year. He was shooting with a true shot percentage of 64.7% last year, which is incredible, but this season he's been a blistering 68.9%. He ranks in the top 10 in efficiency according to true shot percentage in the entire NBA, despite the fact that his free throw percentage is down a bit from last year, which is something I expect to only improve as the season goes on. Now, he's just as good of a popper in the pick and roll as we saw last year, and with him also being able to act as the roller, it makes him really unpredictable and really hard to game plan for since he can hurt you in so many different ways. He has such strong post moves and footwork. He's great at posting up and hitting turnaround shots. There's just no telling how he's going to try and burn you for a bucket. And now, that's not even mentioning his playmaking. Yeah, you can look at Jokic's assists per game this year and see that he's not getting the 8.3 assists per game that he was last year, but that doesn't mean his playmaking has declined by any means. His interior gravity is still just as good as ever, and he makes finding the open man on the perimeter look incredibly easy. His screening off of his passes makes it stupidly easy for shooters to pull up from deep off of a dribble handoff. Now, if I'm being honest, this might be one of the most lethal plays in the NBA right now. It's almost impossible to go around the screen due to how absolutely massive Jokic is, and going under it just allows the receiver of the dribble handoff to pull up for an easy bucket. If the Nuggets were hitting more of their threes, I think both Jokic's assist numbers and the Nuggets' record looks a lot different. But like I said earlier, they're currently the second worst 3-point shooting team in the entire league at the time of this recording. In a more broad sense, his court vision is unbelievable. He sees cross-court passes like they're nothing. He knows when guys are going to be around the basket for easy shots at the rim. He can operate nearly flawlessly in the pick and roll. There's really no pass that this guy is incapable of making. Now, even if the shots aren't falling for his teammates, just the fact that he's able to generate these looks in the first place is a testament to his unbelievable playmaking ability. He's currently top 20 in the entire NBA in potential assists per game with 11.2. If his teammates start hitting their shots, his assist numbers are going to climb back towards the numbers that we saw from him last year. There's one area of Jokic's game that's improved so much that it's kind of hard to believe. It's something he's always been criticized for, whether it was warranted or not, but it's now become an area of the game that he's borderline elite at. And that's his defense. He's been much improved on defense this year, even if at a glance he's not being the shot blocker that some other guys around the league are. His ability to be in the right place at the right time on defense is really starting to show this year. He's averaging 1.6 steals per game and getting almost a block per game on top of that. He's just so smart that even though he's not the fastest player in the world, he can make up for it by positioning himself the right way to either alter a shot or disrupt a passing lane. The Nuggets have a defensive rating of 95.5 points per 100 possessions when Jokic is on the floor. When he's off the floor, that rating declines to 112 points, which is a whopping 16.5 point swing. He actually ranks second highest in the NBA in defensive rating, behind only Draymond Green. His rebounding is up a significant amount this year as well. Last year he was securing 10.8 rebounds per game, and this year it's all the way up to 13.6. Now, it's still very early in the season, and they've only played 10 games so far, so I don't know how sustainable this is, but he has been killing it on the board so far. He's just such a big body, and he's so tall that it's hard to box him out, and it's hard to outreach him around the rim. He's really good at positioning himself for the rebound, and he has a nose for seeing where the rebound could potentially go when the shot comes out of the shooter's hand. Now, I'm not sure he's going to be winning a Defensive Player of the Year award anytime soon, but his defense is legitimately good this year, and the talking point that Jokic is a bad defender is just no longer true. Now, to sum all of this up, he's doing this without his second best player in Jamal Murray. It's all carried over from last year, and I'm hoping that he starts to get some more contributions from his teammates, because right now, the Nuggets haven't been shooting well from three, and they're relying on guys like Aaron Gordon and Will Barton to operate as that second option. Michael Porter Jr. was expected to take a leap, but unfortunately that hasn't come to fruition yet. Fortunately, both Will Barton and Aaron Gordon have been able to step up to a certain extent to keep the Nuggets competitive, and the Nuggets seem to have a really solid defense. Once Jamal Murray is back, I expect this team to be even more offensively potent, and things could really start coming together for the Nuggets. In my opinion, we could easily see another MVP campaign from Nikola Jokic, especially if they're able to climb the Western Conference standings and Jokic continues the fantastic two-way play that he's exhibited so far this season. So where do you think Nikola Jokic ranks in the MVP race so far through the season? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? I'm posting breakdowns like this all the time, so if you like this kind of stuff, you definitely won't regret subscribing. Be sure to leave a like on the video, because that is the best way to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and get this video recommended to more people. Thank you guys so much for watching if you've made it this far, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.